Thank you for joining us on this session. This webinar is entitled Share and Share Alike Using Flipcharts from Promethean Planet. In it, we aim to show you how to use pre-existing flipcharts on Promethean Planet to your advantage, share ideas, and ultimately save you time. On the screen now, you will see a synopsis of what we plan to cover. This webinar differs from our other sessions as we are focusing on editing existing material and not creating something from scratch within Active Inspire. Thank you. I'm going to pass you over to Sam and we can get started.
Thanks, Janice. So, Promethean Planet was created by teachers for teachers and is a unique teaching and sharing support community. And we're going to focus on looking at the resources on Planet today, how we can edit and change them to best suit your classrooms. The Planet team worked really hard to maintain an interface that's intuitive, fresh, and works with you guys in mind. And the homepage has been designed to highlight the latest resources that are available and maintained on a daily basis. Now, there are lots of different areas within Planet that I'd love for you to discover, but we are just going to focus today on the resources. But I will just take a second to mention some of the other important areas. The latest on Planet section directs you to the most current blogs, news, and upcoming events. This week in the community allows you to quickly see what the hottest topics are. And My Planet is definitely worth exploring, as this area allows you to personalize your own Promethean Planet experience. Okay, well, back to the resources. And the first thing I want to talk about today is actually general searching rules. And these apply when you go to any search engine, and it can have a really big impact on the results that you will receive. So when using Promethean Planet and looking for resources, try and be specific. Be specific with your keywords, so use terms such as fractions or 3D shape, not math, because that will give you such a wide variety of lessons. Use exact phrases. You can use quotes or speech marks to search for an exact word or a set of words in a specific order. Use the and or. So use and if you want a document that contains all your keywords, then you can use the capitalized and between those keywords, and the search engine will only find resources that have all of those terms. Or if you want to broaden your search, you use the or, again capitalized, so that the search engine broadens the search and brings up key things that you might desire. And finally, this is the one that I fall down on all the time, so please check your spelling. I'm not saying that we don't know how to spell things, but often we're typing away, doing things on the run, and we just miss that spelling there, and it can make a real big impact. Okay, well, just before we go to the Promethean Planet website and actually take a look at the resources, just want to familiarize ourselves with the toolbar. So here, I've taken a snapshot of the top of the Promethean Planet page. You can see here that we have our general search bar. And by typing in your keyword or phrase into this search bar and hitting search, you're basically asking the software to find anything that's tagged with those words. However, if you hover over the resources section at the top, you'll get a series of options. Now, each of these options is also found in the advanced search option, which you can see here on your right-hand side. And the filters include resource type, age range, and subject area. Now, for each of these, they're going to affect the resources that you find. For example, if I selected 11 to 18-year-olds as an age range, it's going to bring up everything that was meant to be designed for 11 to 14-year-olds. I've not specified a subject. Again, if I clicked on assemblies, it will bring up anything that's been tagged with assemblies, not on a specific theme. So you need to think about how you use the resources and what it is that you're looking for. In addition to the general search, I want to point out the themes area. The themes area is a section where the Promethean team has put together specific resources all on that particular theme. So this example is on earthquakes and volcanoes, and you can see here that we not only have lessons, but we also have publisher-created resources as well as worksheets, links, and web links down at the bottom. So everything put in one place for you. Okay, well I think that's enough talking and kind of understanding things. Let's actually go to Promethean Planet to do this for real. So here I am on PrometheanPlanet.com. I've actually registered and signed into the site, and that's important when I want to do a download. You can actually view the site and look at the resources without registering, but you will need to register and sign in if you would like to download any of the resources. So I've actually done that in preparation for this evening. So first of all, I need to decide what I'm going to search for. Well, tonight I'm going to go with math and I'm going to go with fractions because I know that that is taught across all curriculums around the globe. So we've got lots of different people on here today. And also I want to find something that is taught throughout the age ranges so that I can show you the filters. So I've gone with fractions and I'm going to hit the search. The website will now search all those 92,000 resources and it will come back with anything that is tagged with fractions. And I can see here on the top of the right hand side that I've got 802 resources that have been tagged with fractions. Just going to do some filtering now to kind of get that down. That's far too many. So first of all, I'm going to look at file format. So I really want a Promethean flip chart. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to see what comes up. Okay, so we've nearly halved it. We've gotten down to 457. Still far too many. So I'm going to go into my age range and I'm going to go 6 to 8 year olds. And this brings it down to 131. It's still a lot. If I wanted to go further, I could select to filter by country. I'm actually purposefully not going to do that because, like I said, fractions is a subject that's taught across most curriculums, and I actually want to show you that you can use a resource from another country and adapt it to suit your needs and your curriculum. Let's just spend some time then looking at the top couple of search results. So I can see here this first one that's come up. It's been favorited, with my little star here, 228 times, and it's been downloaded over 38,000 times. So I can pretty much see that this is a good resource. Obviously lots of teachers want to use it. And you can look at these as you're going down. There's lots, all the different things. We've got one here, 2,000, another one, 93, another one, nearly 2,000 there. I'm going to go into that top one and I'm going to hit preview. Now the preview button, by using the preview button, I get to look at the lesson first and learn more about what the teacher was trying to achieve when they were writing the original lesson. So you can see that I've got a bit more information when it was posted, age range, subject. I also have the description and I can read other people's reviews of the lesson as well. If you're happy, you can hit the download button. Now I'm using Windows 7, which means that my page will turn, but my options to open that resource will appear at the bottom, as you can see here. I'm going to open the resource, not save it. I'm purposely going to do that because I want to take a look at it first. I also want to make sure that any material is edited before I save it onto my laptop. So I'm going to hit open, and you can quickly see that doesn't take any time at all, that I now have a copy of that lesson here in my Active Inspire software. So let's just have a look at what we have. So here we've got our title page, we've got the name of the original author, picture of a pizza behind it. I've got some activities here, so I've got a question, some instructions, so I can start to look at something to do. I can keep going and having a good look about what that particular lesson is about and if it's relevant for me. I'm quite happy with this example, but it's got some really good activities. It's not perfect, however. So I want to show you different ways in which you can edit the material that's on Promethean Planet. So firstly, how do we move or delete objects? Well, as I'm on the front page and it says someone else's name at the bottom, I might want to get rid of that because I might want to decide that I'd like this work to be my own. Now, as a courtesy and a bit of an acknowledgement, if you do this and then you repost that particular flip chart up onto Promethean Planet, please do remember to accredit the original author. There is a section for acknowledgements and it is just common courtesy. However, let me get on with deleting. So there are two ways I can delete things on my page. I can select them, as I've done here, and just hit my delete key on my laptop. Or I can select it and drag it to the bin, as I'm doing here. So you also saw there that it's possible for me to move particular objects. And again, that's just a case of selecting them and moving them to where I would like them. I'm going to have my title all at once here, and I'm going to delete this. So again, just using the bin. Now, I like this picture of a pizza, but it's a bit too bright. I'd like to make it a little bit more translucent, maybe shrink the size a little bit, but I don't seem to be able to get hold of it. So if at any point you can't move or select something, you need to check your design mode. Design mode is the option to turn off all locks, actions and links. So it sits up here and it's this little blue snowflake, and if I select it, it makes it red. And by selecting that, I'm allowing myself to manipulate the page and the objects on it without being hindered by what the original creator may have had in mind. So let's try again. Nope, still can't get hold of my pizza. So if all that doesn't work, like you've just seen there, we need to look at the layers within our browser. So your browsers sit on your left-hand side of your page, down here, and you can see my page browser, the one I'm looking at now. The third one along in the Active Inspire Studio, or the first one in Active Inspire Primary, is the object browser. And you can see it's a blue pentagram with kind of an orangey yellow squiggle over the top. By selecting this, I can see everything that is on my page. The software has 4 layers, and the background layer has properties that mean anything that's put onto that layer is set in stone. It won't allow me to select it or move it in my flip chart. I can, however, pick up the image in the background and move it into another layer. So by dropping it onto the bottom layer, I've changed the properties of that image, and I can now select and manipulate. So here, just going to use the translucency slider, like I said, to make it a little more transparent. I know that I'm happy with it, so I can turn back into presentation mode. Okay, the final thing I'm going to change on this page is colour. So I'm going to use the fill, and I'm going to use this lovely lavender blue here to just change the colour, because it really changes the feel of my lesson. If you want to learn more about how design can affect your lessons, then do please watch our previous webinar entitled Deadly Design for tips and ideas on how design can actually affect the learning. Okay, I'm going to go on to our next page then. Well, we looked at this page earlier, and actually, if you saw what I was doing, I'm not a great fan. It's using the eraser at the bottom. It's not that clean. It's okay, but I'm not keen on it. So I want to show you how we can add and delete pages. So if you would like to keep the page, but actually just take off all the activities and write something of your own, we can use our Clear tool. By using Clear here and selecting Clear Page, we keep the page in our presentation. So you see here, there's our title, and there we are, there's the page. But we've erased everything that was on it, so I can bring that back, or use my undo, or I can clear the page. If I'd like to get rid of that activity and the page altogether, I do need to select my page browsers, again down the left-hand side, use the menu on that particular page, and hit delete. Now that will delete the entire page and all its contents. So if we can delete pages, we need to be able to add them. And to add a page, you use the insert on your main menu, which is found either at the top here or through your main menu on your toolbar, insert, and I'm going to insert a page. I have the option to insert it before, after, or use a desktop snapshot. So I'm going to insert a blank page after this current one so that you see it appear. I really like this filter because you can add a page very quickly and you can get something to write on and take that lesson in a different direction. It's not just about adding and deleting pages, however. We can actually move pages from one lesson to another. So I'm not going to go through every single page of this particular flip chart to show you how I would edit it, but I am going to take the page that we just edited and I'm going to drop it in the lesson that I've pre-prepared for this session. By selecting the page, holding down my left click and dragging it across, hopefully you can see there that we have a smaller version of the page. I'm going to take that up to my lesson that I'm preparing and I'm just going to drop it. Once I select that lesson, you'll see that that pre-prepared content that we've just edited is now in the lesson that I created beforehand. That's brilliant, it's easy. It means you can cherry pick the activities that you want. Now you can do that with multiple pages by using the control function and selecting multiple pages and dragging them all in at once. Another great feature is the ability to move pages around. I'm just going to shrink these down to show you. This needs to be at the front, so let's move that to the front so I can move and manipulate my pages and their ideas around. I can change it by selecting and dragging. Okay, now like I said, I've done a little bit of preparation for this topic. And what I want to do now is change tack so that I'm not just talking about editing tips, but actually how to change an activity on a page to best suit my classroom. This activity, for example, is set up with descriptions on a page, and those descriptions are linked to reveal a picture. I know there's a picture there because I get my little blue triangle, which I'm making visible here, and when I select that on fraction, it brings me up. Again, that's pizza, making me hungry. But I've got different options. Now, I don't actually like this activity. It doesn't suit my class very well, but I do like the fact that I've got all my definitions here, and I'd like to create a discussion with my class around them. So I'm going to edit this whole activity. First thing I need to do then is select my design mode, turn off all those actions and links. After that, I need to delete all these pictures. So these are the ones I don't like, so delete the pictures. Okay, I'm now going to move all my definitions to the bottom of the page. Move them down here. And I'm going to add a shape. So I'm going to add a black shape onto the top half, a black square onto the top half of my page. This is going to be my interactivity area. I'm now going to use the fill tool, and I'm going to go with this purple, I think, this time, to just change the key term into that word, but I'll leave the rest black. And then I'm happy, so I'm going to go back into presentation mode. What I've done now is when I drag these up onto the page, can you see there how you can just see the key term, but you can't see the definition? So what's really great now is I'm able to do this with all of these options, and I can ask my class what they think the term means. They might be able to come up and write something up here, and then I can drag it down to the bottom. I can show them the actual definition, and I can explain the meaning of it. Now, this is an activity I really like and is going to work really well for my class, but every class and every teacher is different, but hopefully this gives you some ideas of how I haven't started from scratch on an activity, but what I have done is edit it to suit my needs. So let's look at another example. So this page has some instructions here to move, and there's something to click there. Now, this page I quite like, but it does need a bit of artistic license. I'm not very fond of this red. So all I'm going to do is use the fill in that blue again that I used before to change the colour. And you can see that I've now not got 2/3, so I just need to use it again here to make sure I am modelling 2/3. Changes the feel of it automatically. Hopefully you agree there when you're looking at it. But my contrast is too faint here at the bottom now. So again, I can just use the fill in any colour and I can change this. So just a bit of artistic license, but it's really affecting how my page is viewed. So let's have a look. Here's the one that I've done, that I've edited. Here's what it looks like before. Now it's up to you which one you prefer. I think this has a much nicer feel to it. Let's move on. So on this activity, if we look at what we've got here, we've got the fraction, it says the fraction inverse this picture is. Okay, that doesn't make sense, so we've got an extra word we need to edit. We've got pictures here, and then we've got an instruction to use the magnifying glass to find the answers. Ah, right, that makes sense now, so the students have to tell me what percentage, what fraction, sorry, the pictures are. I really like this activity, but I'm not keen on using these shapes, and I obviously need to edit this particular word. I'd actually prefer to use pictures here. So I'm going to go to the resource browser, and I'm going to go down to subjects and look up some animals. So the animals sit under general and then animals, and I'm just going to bring some in. So just to edit this, I'm going to use the bear here. So wherever I see the trapezoid, I'm going to put my bear because I don't want to have to change the things underneath that are hidden by that magnifying glass. I just want to change what I need to. I'll use the dog for the pentagon and so on. Let's have a little mouse here. It's really cute. And then my cat. What I need to do now is delete the shapes. I'm just going to select my shapes all at once by using my control key. Just the shapes and delete. Now, I definitely need to get into this text to edit it. So to edit text, you double click on the text and it brings up your text bar and allows you to go in here and edit the text. I also obviously now need to change these. So I need to remember which way around these were, but I know the first one, trapezoid, was my bear. Okay, so I'll just put a few spaces there, make sure it's there. And my pentagon was my dog, etc. So I would carry on doing that. The activity itself stays the same. I'm just editing what's on it to again suit my class and my class's needs. What's great about this is I haven't had to change this look, still only got 1 dog out of 10, and I've still got 4 bears, but I've edited the page. Again, I'm not keen on that red, so let's change the colour. I'm going with the blue for this session. Edit the colour. There are some boxes here that's hidden, so I can just click on them to get rid of that as well. Really changes the look and feel, but not the activity. So you can do different things. Now, hopefully, everyone's found that useful, and I have been talking for quite a long time now, but before I go, there is one last thing I want to show you, and that is how to add resources from the General Resource browser. So here we have our General Resources here, and we have our search bar in Active Inspire. Now the same tips apply when you're looking for something, so I'll go with, we're looking for fractions, and hit play. By hitting play, you're asking the search engine to search for anything with that keyword. Now, what I like about this search engine is even though it looks like nothing is coming up, the engine will tell me if there's nothing to find. So I'm not going to panic that it's taking its time. I'm just going to wait until it's done its magic. Hopefully we won't have to wait too long. There we go. So there are 46 items, all with the word fraction in them. So I can see here I've got an activity, fraction activity, I've got the fraction bar, I've got fraction wall, I've got the word fraction, I've got some things looking at refraction, so I'm going into science. I'm just going to drag one of these options into the page. So I've got a pre-created activity here, already done for me on fractions. And I can see that I'm supposed to order the fractions to sort in order from smallest to largest. I've got different options and I've got some characters. Now, just because it is pre-written doesn't mean that you can't use all those tips I've just shared with you and edit this pre-existing template. For example, let's select design mode, turns off all actions. Let's see if I can edit a card. Or I can pick the card up. So I could delete the card entirely and start from scratch. Or I've noticed that this card has everything is grouped on it. I'm going to ungroup that card and I'm just going to pick up the characters, and I could delete the characters and maybe use those animals that we've used before. Or I could use different pictures of things that you're studying in your classroom at that time. I can edit the text by double clicking into it, so we can go from largest to smallest instead. The whole idea is that even though it's pre-written for you, you have the ability to edit these things to suit your class and your learners. Okay, well that's everything from me, so I'm just going to very quickly pass you back to Janice so she can take you through some next steps.
Thank you very much, Sam. So today we've seen how resources from Promethean Planet can be downloaded, opened in your own software, customized and reorganized, how you can mix up pages from flip charts that you've downloaded from Promethean Planet and also pages that you've created yourself. We have also seen how we could add pages in or delete pages of flip charts as required for lessons for your particular learners. I hope that we have demonstrated that you don't need to just stick with content created for your own country or your own specific curriculum. That there is a lot of content out there on Promethean Planet that maybe teachers from other countries in the world are creating that still has content relevant for you and for your class. You just pick and choose the parts of it that you want. You don't have to make use of the whole resource that you download. Using examples created by other users can not only save you valuable preparation time, but they can also introduce you to features of the software that you're less confident using or have possibly never used before. So it's very easy to take somebody else's carefully thought out and constructed page and then just tweak it, changing small bits of information to suit your learners, again, your curriculum, your class. Now Now joining this session, I hope has been useful for getting you started on seeing the advantages of using other people's content instead of creating your own. But we also recommend that you have a look at some of the other support that Promethean has to offer. So just really quickly to reiterate, Promethean Planet is not just about resources. We also have support and sharing forums and special interest groups and a lot more on there. We are soon to launch the newly designed professional development area, and this will also have lots of support and advice for teachers, including video tutorials, a listing of the Promethean academies where you can get quality face-to-face training, and a lot more. We'll also have the next titles in our webinar series advertised, and you can register right from there. So keep an eye out for those professional development pages. The Active Inspire help files are also another very useful place to go if you want to find the specifics on how to do something. So if you want to learn what you can do with Magic Ink or with the Fill tool, a really great place to start. Now, we would love for you to join our next webinar, which is entitled The 5 Features of Active Inspire Teachers Tell Us That They Love and Why. Once again, we have put the registration link there on the bottom, but if you go to Promethean Planet and have a look, either under the new PD pages, should be up by the end of this week, or if you look in the forum under training, you'll see these listed and you can register right there. If you've got any questions on anything that you've seen in this session, please get in touch with Sam or I at the emails provided. We've also provided our Twitter handles, so if you want to keep in contact that way and find out what's happening, please just give us a follow. And finally, all of the titles of today's webinars were designed in collaboration with Babcock Education and cover topics of interest requested by teachers. Thank you again for joining this session, and we are looking forward to you on our future titles as well. Thank you.